For me, I really like deep world building, and I always feel like a lot of writers, that's mostly what they're lacking. Because I notice a lot of writers want to create like their own Lord of the Rings, but I'm like, that's so basic. Like, you gotta put something, you gotta put your own twist in it. You can't just copy Lord of the Rings because people just go and read Lord of the Rings. So it's like we need a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because you think a lot of guys who, like, for example, play a lot of video games, you would think that they would have like a very deep imagination, but they really don't. And I always feel like a lot of the time it's just the fact that people don't want to put all that effort into something. It's like they're trying to create like a story with twists and turns and stuff, but they're not putting max effort into it. They're only putting like 40% effort. That's what I noticed with a lot of writers. It's like if you're gonna write, max out your effort, bro. Even if you believe that, even if it makes you tired, even if it's just blood, sweat, and tears, I would much rather read a story that somebody wrote that's like 1,500 pages of just max effort, even if it has errors and all that, than to read a story where it's like a person only wrote like 120 pages, but they were trying hella hard to make it perfect, and it's just hella bland. Like, there was like a writer that I was reading, a YouTuber. There was a YouTuber that created a book, and I was reading his book, and it's like he was a book reviewer. And it was so strange to me because I was reading his book, and I'm like, this book feels so empty and hollow. You would think somebody that reviews and reads a lot of books would create the greatest book of all time, but nope. It's more of just like they don't really fully know what they're talking about. It appears like they know what they're talking about, but it's more like they're studying notes versus actually knowing the in and outs. Because there's a difference between all you do is like write notes down and you actually putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that with people is like sometimes it's like they believe they know what they're doing, but they really don't. Like, they can make you a list of what to do, but they don't even know how to read their own list that they created. You get what I'm saying? So that's something I've noticed. But like I said, it also just has to do with laziness sometimes. Some people are just hella lazy, just don't want to write something super deep. And I'm like, if you don't write something super deep, nobody's going to want to read it. Because who wants to read a Lord of the Rings ripoff that ain't as good as Lord of the Rings? You get what I'm saying? It is what it is. I always want to read something that's more, even though everything in life is a remix, I want somebody to write something that feels original. It's like they use a bunch of different ideas from a bunch of different genres, but it feels original, if that makes sense. It's kind of like Adventure Time. Adventure Time is a perfect example, or One Piece. Perfect example. Deep world building, a whole bunch of different types of stories, thousands of different characters to, take inspiration from, and just fun to